Okay, so we're getting set up to be live here on Facebook on Monday night. It's great to see everybody. People will be coming in shortly. I've sent out the invitations, some invitations to some people. Um, Here we go. We'll see who comes in. And we're going to be talking about metabolic health, which is kind of a topic. And interestingly enough, we've had a lot of discussions in the last 24 hours about terminology. And one of the things about terminology is what is metabolic health and what we're going to talk about. So, a lot of people didn't take chemistry or biology or any kind of science. And so, a lot of people don't, they hear the word metabolic health or metabolic, and they have no idea what we're talking about. And so, metabolism or metabolic refers to metabolism. Metabolism is the process inside everyone's body where food is turned into energy. Now, there's two types of energy that is used by the body. One is glucose, and the other is ketones, so which is fat. So there's two types of energy sources, and everybody has them. And the thing we can talk about and what has happened is that there's an issue that we're taking too much sugar. We're taking too much food. And so that's kind of the issue. So it's an issue called insulin resistance. Now, when people hear the word insulin resistance, unfortunately, they automatically think of, well, I'm not diabetic, and they think of insulin and diabetes. And they go, well, I'm not diabetic. Well, insulin resistance refers to the cells not wanting to take any more glucose in. They're resistant. Cells become resistant to taking that in. And if you have too much, it's got to go somewhere. And inside that somewhere, for the simplest way is for some of you is your body fat. So you start looking at, and they'll say like, well, you're getting older, or menopausal or other kinds of things. And that's kind of not the case. It's the old mentality, the old way of talking. So we're going to be talking. We had some people coming in. Kurt just arrived. Hey, Kurt. And we're going to go through some different ideas about metabolic health. So today, and here's John coming in. So we're going to be talking about, hey, John, we're going to be talking about, we're going to ask a couple survey type questions. We're going to talk about struggles in history of food. We're going to talk about solutions, and we're going to give you some proof. We're going to give you some proof about this product and the protocol that we're on. Then eventually we'll get to the product and the protocol. So we're just going to let you know that that's kind of the agenda. That's kind of what we're going to talk about. So the survey, the first question I have is, would you agree that there is a metabolic problem in America? Would you agree with that? And I guess if you don't really understand what I'm asking because of the word metabolic, when you were just at your last picnic or family gathering or church gathering, or when you were at the mall, or when you were at the grocery store, did you see what you can't unsee is people waddling around, people that are in carts, people, instead of pushing a cart, they're riding a cart. Do you see kids that are the same as potentially their parents or grandparents? Do you hear people complaining about their itises, their inflammation, or their high blood pressure, or their hearts, or all those kinds of things? Those are all things related to metabolism and insulin resistance. So would you agree that that's a growing issue? I would say for sure.
Yeah,
Now, with that, do you think that problem is going to go away? Do you think it's going to go up, or do you think it's going to go down in the next 5 to 10 years? It's going to go up, isn't it?
Right.
And then the last question I would have is, would you agree that most Americans spend between $6 and $10 a day on breakfast, sodas, smoothies, chips, candies, powder drinks, snacks, candy bars, granola, death bars, all that kind of stuff? Would you agree that they're probably spending $6 to $10? Because if you go through a drive-in for any of that kind of stuff. Or if you were in a grocery store or a convenience store 2 or 3 times a day, would you agree that $69 is pretty much
even higher? Even higher.
Okay.
You should see the line at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, for the candy coffee stuff they drink, and then my God, there's some more sugar with some more carbs and
exactly. Yeah. So we're spending that money on stuff, right? So we're going to talk about that. So is there a need? Yes, there is a need, and the need is increasing. Of course, the question would be: is there a solution? Well, we're on here because there is a solution, but we're going to teach you what that solution is. And I guess the question would be if you had a natural solution or a chemical solution. In other words, if you had a natural solution, it was food, and you could take shots for the rest of your life and take pills for the rest of your life, which would you rather do? And I would think most people would rather have a natural solution. And is the solution proven? We're going to talk about making sure that it's proven and guaranteed and it's affordable. So 93%, if you agreed, you're correct. 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. And you can look at it at the leading causes of death. The leading causes of death are cardiovascular, Alzheimer's, dementia, the big C, cancer, all different kinds of cancers. There's all kinds of things that are all metabolically related. What I mean is they are preventable with lifestyle changes. They're preventable. Food got us into this mess. Food will get us out. No longer is it really worried. Are we really worried about typhoid fever or uncontrolled typhus and diarrhea and that kind of stuff? Those were deaths that were caused when we didn't have the kinds of things we do now. But in the modern food environment, which you guys are living through, which I joined you for the first 30 years of my 70 plus years, I didn't have that issue. Now, Kurt's mom, same thing. I mean, if you look at pictures of Kurt's mom, you look at me, you look at my parents and that, and you see how fit they were. How do you think that we were better at counting calories or carbs? Do you think we went to the gym more? No, we didn't have any of that. And the thing is that we didn't have these problems because our food has changed. Our food has changed. So here's a quick history of food. I'm going to give 5 minutes or less. You can even time me. So originally in the Americas, there's this habit addictive thing called tobacco, right? And people were smoking tobacco. And there was a study done at a university where they put rats and they put a street drug in front of them. And it was a white street drug, and they got them addicted to that. Okay, so they're addicted to that. Then they said, well, let's just see. So they put water trays with sugar in it. Once the rats were introduced to the sugar, they never went back to the drug. Addictive. So that cigarette company, the tobacco companies go, hey, look what we could do. So they started aspirating sugar into the cigarettes. And 20% of the cigarettes by weight was sugar. They even put it in the ground, aspirated in. And that was unregulated back in the 50s. And advertising was unregulated back in the 50s. So smoking is good for you.
That's why it burns going down.
It was good for you. And it's addictive. So then what happened was that then also they started removing the fiber. Now, when the fiber was removed, that increased the shelf life. When you increase the shelf life, you increase your life. But fiber is important. And that's how important is it? Every food that we eat that God planted is wrapped in fiber. Think about that for half a second. God put together the food and said, here, eat the fiber first. Then get to the juice and the sweet. Well, man, for profit, took the fiber out because they could. If the fiber's out, that shelf life goes up. And it was important during the war for meals being shipped to overseas so that they didn't spoil. But they never put it back in. And then while you had that going on, then there was the hydrolyzation. The hydrolyzation is when you take hydrogen and you force it into a liquid. And when you force it into a liquid, that solidifies it. Now, one of the foods that you guys eat and people like is peanut butter. If you take natural peanut butter and just smush the heck out of it, it separates naturally into solids and oil. But when you go to the store and buy it, it's solid. It's been hydrolyzed. Now, what else went on with hydrolyzation? Well, there was two guys. One guy's last name was Proctor, and the other's name was Gamble, that came from England and Scotland. I got to remember where they're from. I forgot. But anyway, they're over there. And they came to America, and one was a candlestick maker, and one was, I want to say a butcher, baker, candlestick maker. That's how the rhyme goes. But anyway, one's a candlestick maker and one's a soap maker. Now, they came to Cincinnati, Ohio, independently of each other, and they met because they married sisters. And Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story. So Procter and Gamble got together, and they found cottonseed oil, which was a toxic byproduct of cotton. It was used at that time to lubricate machinery and used for fuel in lamps. How romantic is that? Well, they got the bright idea. What if we hydrolyze that? What could we do? Well, they hydrolyzed it, and it came into a white substance that was oily because it's oil, right? It was a toxic oil. Now it's a solid. And guess what that became? Crisco. 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 Now, Crisco, in its lifetime, was marketed as it's digestible. What a slogan, right? It's digestible. I don't know if you guys ever played with Crisco, but it's like gluten slider. If you put it on a spoon, it's going to be on there until you take gasoline and burn it off. It's a lubricant that won't go away. And what had happened is they needed to get that so they could market it. They needed somebody's approval. So they took it to the American Heart Association. Now, the American Heart Association gave it a Heart Healthy Plus. It's heart healthy. Well, the American Heart Association also received $1.7 million at the time they approved it. And oh, by the way, that's equivalent to about $30 to $40 million today. Now, why did they get that approval? Why? Because now we have increased shelf life of this oil, this hydrolyzed oil, and that pushes out what? Lard, butter, natural fats. So we're demonizing it, and we're making something with a bigger shelf life. So then what happens is that, another guy said, hey, you know what? I got the cereal to sell. You know, what can we do? We need a campaign for that. And guess what came out of there? Mr. Kellogg created the slogan, the most important meal of the day is your breakfast. Now, you're breaking your fast is the most important, but in this case, it's not necessarily means you need to eat cereal at 6 or 7 in the morning. So now we got breakfast. We got big media starting to go, right? Because when you kids were kids and you were in the grocery store, your eyeballs are shelf level to all them cereals, right? And you were, mommy, I want this, I want that, the color ones, the toucans and the pirate and the pops and the musketeers and the whoever, you know, Coco Willie and whoever else. So guess what? Those are all sugar related, aren't they? Now here's what happened. What you don't know, too, with media's going on, because every Saturday you had cartoons in the morning, right? And you got all juiced up for the shopping with your mom later on that day. And then what happened was, you might not know this, the guys that brought you the cigarettes bought the food companies. Now, when they bought the food companies, what did they bring with them? They brought with them the skill of advertising for profit, and they brought in the knowledge of sugar. And they have all these chemists. And now they did what? They combined sugar and these oils with no fiber and add salt, not Himalayan salt, but just salt. And they created foods that are highly palpable, highly addictive, and not satisfying. I mean, how many times when you were a kid, you could sit down and eat a bowl of whatever, but you weren't full. And you'd eat another one. And then you'd have a glass of orange juice, right? So that kind of thing. So then what happens? So they engineered the food, added all the stuff in, and then, even this is still before your lifetime, high fructose corn syrup came in about 1973. Do you see what's going on here? You see how taking the food, we're adding stuff to it, making it more addictive, making it less nutritious, right? And they're making it such that you're going to be in line for the pharmacy. So here's where we're at. This is all good and well, but really what happens is that here, these guys, and then about 2000, yeah. What happened was they stopped being involved and sold out. The tobacco guys sold out. Now you got these guys with the same recipes, okay, and more. And then what happened? Well, these guys are next, aren't they? The drug guys are waiting for the food guys to do their job. And there we are. We're trapped. We're trapped in this game. You're always going to be eating, but now we've got the pills to go with whatever happens. So this is just to show you there's the issue, there's a problem. This is what it looks like. This is me. Now, this isn't me, but if you looked at the x-ray through your Superman glasses, this would be me. Think about that. Think about that. When you see people like this, think of all the pressures going on in there. Here's me, and now I'm down to a 28-inch waist. So really what's going on, the struggle's real. This is what we call diet whack-a-mole. And what happens here is I have been almost in all of these diets during my lifetime. You start looking at Jenny Craig, Mediterranean, low carb, cabbage, chicken and rice, Mayo, Weight Watchers, Dash, Biggest Loser, Ornish, Asian, Slim Fast, all these different whack-a-mole diets. And they're still going on, aren't they, today? So you got these, and so you got going on with exercise and food and diet, and you think, well, I can maybe do this, but hungry always wins. You fail. End of story. End of story. You think this way. You think short term, flash and fail. Well, I'll just do this. I'm gonna give up whatever it is, and it doesn't last 40. It doesn't last through Lent. You start your New Year's resolution. I'm going to give up, and that lasts till what? Tuesday? You fail. It's a flash, and you fail, and then you go all or nothing. All or nothing. I'm gonna give up whatever it is. All or nothing. It's destructive mentally, and then you eat a little bit, and then you have guilt. You got shame and guilt. Now we're there. And then, or maybe you think, I can do it all on my own. I can do this on my own. I know. I can do this on my own. But you know what? Your friends and family start teasing you. They ridicule you. Oh, you're just trying to do this. You're trying to do that. And you're left alone. You're left alone. You can hardly go out to eat if you're on one of those things. And then you think, okay, I know what. I'm gonna go to the gym more. I'm gonna exercise. I'm gonna lift weights and power lift and run. But you know what? You can't out exercise a poor diet. You cannot out exercise a poor diet. And then poor sleep and high stress derails everything. And if you have high sleep apnea and everything else, guess what? Hormones do matter. Cortisol levels matter. And then you go like, okay, I found these pills or these shots and lotions and potions, and I'm going to do all this. But they're also what? Temporary, and they're wastes of money, which frustrates you all the more because you're playing diet whack-a-mole. Because nothing works. And we found something that works. I just want to show you some numbers. These are my numbers. Whoops. These are my numbers. In 2010, my blood glucose was normal. Whatever normal is, but it wasn't bad. In 2019, my blood sugar was 600 and my A1C was 14.6. That's extremely high. That's extremely high. Now, I went into a program. It cost me hundreds of dollars a month. Great program, but I'm weighing my food, Kurt. I'm weighing my food. I have a gram scale and cups, and I'm not sustainable. Then October of this last year, I went what? Well, I managed to be silly enough to get to 834 blood glucose and 18.1. That is life-threatening. I should be dead. I could have been dead here, but I definitely should have been dead there. I should have immediately been put in a hospital. Medical attention is definitely needed. Well, 107 days on this protocol. After 107 days, I was able to get my A1C lowered and my blood glucose is normal. So we're talking about insulin resistance. Now, Kurt, you've had some of these things, right? What have you realized? What have you seen? What's happened to you, kiddo?
Oh yes, no, you're absolutely right. I was working out 6 days a week. I had the handy dandy app where you would program. Okay, I had this many carbs, that many, that much proteins, all this, and I was doing that, working out 6 days a week. But as soon as COVID hit, I couldn't work out anymore. Well, I lost it right then. I lost everything that I gained. I got down to 210. Well, I had to travel for work. So on top of that, then after I traveled for work a year, I wasn't sleeping right. I wasn't eating right. By the end of the year, I was up at 250. I was huge. I mean, I would bend over to put my boots on. I was breathing heavy. Since I work construction, when we build a building, we, multiple stories and walking upstairs. And I mean, I would walk up a flight of stairs and about pass out, or, I'd be breathing heavy. It's like, man, I'm going to die. Back when I came back, and I no longer travel, thank God. But since I came back, I told my wife, Stephanie, I said, I'm 250 pounds. If I don't do anything, I'm going to die. And I knew I was going to die. That's when George called or sent Stephanie a text. I saw your picture. I saw what you're doing. I called George, which is my father-in-law. I called George. I said, what are you doing? My God, I don't recognize you. What are you doing? I have to have what you have. And he sent me a link. He goes, this is what I'm doing. I was hurting so bad, and I was in such desperation. I signed up. I signed up right then and there. I took the product. I was on the product. He kept calling me like every day. What do you notice? What do you notice? And the seventh day, which was on an Easter, was the seventh day. Before that, I was so happy. I'm like, what the heck am I going to wear to Easter get together? Am I going to wear like sweatpants? What am I going to wear? Well, I thought, you know what? I have a pair of nice dress tan pants. I'm going to get them out of the closet. What the heck? I'm going to see if they fit. Oh my God, they fit. I put them on, they fit. And I had an emotional moment at that time. I mean, a man of my age, I'm 58 years old. I was obese, and it meant so much to me. I lost enough inches that I could put on a nice pair of pants. It made me feel like a real human being again. And I mean, it's just amazing. Next thing you know, Dad calls me and he goes, hey, I would like for you to work with me, be a business partner. I didn't think twice. I signed up. I'm in. This does so much good for people. It is unbelievable what it does for people. And what hurts is there's stuff out there on the internets that actually harm people. But I even challenge people. We would be happy to send information to you. You can research a product. It's all natural. My sister, I've been wanting to get her on this product, and she researches everything. And I sent her the link. She's been researching the product. She goes, I want to take it. So she goes, there is nothing in there. It's all natural. So she is very thorough on her research, and she's excited. And probably later this week, she'll be joining us. And I think she'll be, well, I know she will be feeling the benefits.
Yeah. And then your mom, she joined as a partner after being she's been on it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How long has she been on the product?
Oh, yeah, 2 weeks. And she used to have to walk with a cane. Now she doesn't have to walk with a cane. She goes, my balance is better. And she goes, I can actually squat down and stand back up.
She was talking about doing squats.
Yeah, she's 88 years old. And she goes, my God, I wished I knew about this sooner. It's just amazing, all the testimony from people everywhere. It's not a coincidence. It's a real thing. And unfortunately, the bad products out there on the line has hurt the good stuff that's out there, but it is all natural and it really works. I mean, I tell you what, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my dad.
Awesome. Thanks, Kurt. I appreciate that.
I just wouldn't have been here.
Yep. Thanks, Kurt. John, what have you noticed? You've been on it for about a few weeks. What you told me something about that people noticed about you. What was that? Whoops, you're muted. All right, hang on. I got you. Somebody muted. I got to unmute you there. There you go.
There. I think it was like maybe a week or two, maybe the second week that I was even taking this, that a friend of mine called and I told him about this stuff. And he's like, you sound a lot happier. And I'm like, I am. Don't know why, but I'm feeling good. And, my mom noticed it. It just started like snowballing. And then I got this love seat and it's like, my knees creak and stuff. Well, all of a sudden it's like, they don't hurt anymore. And it's like, I was able to put on one size smaller shirts. I just don't feel as big as I did before I started. So,
perfect.
It looks trim. I like it. So who wouldn't? So, just internally, like just positive things are happening. And like I told my brother tonight, I'm like, I can't wait to see, I think 90 days will be in like a month and a half. I'm going to like do the complete like fasting blood stuff. And I really want to see, because the A1C was fine, but that's medicated. I showed George my picture. I've got like antidepressants and blood pressure medication and diuretics and cholesterol medication and I don't want to take all
your medicine cabinet looked like a pharmacy.
Right.
I mean, 2 sides, 3 shelves.
Except for the what?
Oh, I'm sorry, John. I was just going to say, I like what you said, where you said you feel lighter. I lost 18 pounds in less than a month, and my body feels so much better. I feel like I'm floating in air now, just losing that amount of weight.
And I just noticed last week, just like walking, like if I had to walk, like my mom is in a nursing home. So I was walking from my car to her room and I'm like, I'm walking with a purpose, and I'm not feeling it at all. And I'm like, okay, mark another box. And so, it's just like keeps building and building. And so, I can wear like 3 XLTs now instead of 4 XLTs and it's just like it's snowballing. So I can't wait to check off more stuff. So
perfect.
I love it.
Thanks, John. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That's great. So we're going to look at a couple more things. You bet. Thank you. So we're going to come back and we're going to look at some of the what we're talking about and why it works the way it does. And so really quickly, if you think about the things that the guys have talked about, there was some weight loss talking there, but there's clarity, there's ability to move, the joints are better, blood pressure's coming down. I'm on no meds of any kind at 73 with a 28-inch waist, which is not bad. But there are symptoms. If you look at a dandelion, each one of these things would be like a symptom. And so if nothing's done, it's going to spread, isn't it? And so we need to get to the root cause. And the reason we talk about it is this way, because think of all this. Let's say this was diabetes, and let's say this is high blood pressure, and let's say this is brain fog, and let's say that this is obesity, and this is weight, and this is inflammation. You get over here, they all belong to the same root plant, don't they? And to get rid of that, you're going to have to dig it out. Now, if Kurt was going to have Wyatt, my grandson, there get it, he'd have to have this tool, because Wyatt, strong as he is as a goalie, he ain't strong enough to pull out the whole thing by itself. He's going to have to dig down to get rid of it. And so that's why we need the tool. And the tool of insulin resistance gets rid of all of these other things. So even like Alzheimer's or dementia is inflammation of the brain. It's type 3 diabetes. So if you're always hungry, if it's hard for you to lose weight, if you have cravings for sugar or salt, if you have headaches, migraines, aches and pains and bodies, low energy and fatigue and a hard belly and belly fat, guys, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because of anything but insulin resistance and the addictiveness of food. Now, for every one of these things, almost everyone, the pharmacy has what? A pill for you. And once they start you on it, once a doctor prescribes you on something, guess what? You don't ever come off until you're in a black box. And in the process, they probably increase the dosage, increase the medications. They get more and more and more. So we want to talk about and get rid of insulin resistance. And so what this is, I'm going to give you everybody on here a free advice on how to be able to take care of yourself if you want to. And I call it F off. If someone wanted free advice from me, I'll just tell them to F off. And what does that stand for? That stands for fast, order of food, fiber, fats, protein. Nowhere did I say carb. F off. Fast, order of food, fiber, fat, and protein. So we're going to fast longer. That breakfast doesn't mean you have to have food right away at 6, 7 in the morning. Whenever we have our first lunch, that's when we break our fast. But before then, we drink a tea. We just drink a tea. And that allows us to push our hunger away. We ain't hungry. And you're not reaching for the bakery stuff. You're not reaching for that sandwich and whatever. You get into about lunch, maybe 1 or 2, and sometimes you got to remind yourself, did I eat yet? And oh yeah, I need to eat. So then we eat, and then we have another tea, which takes us to dinner. Now our biggest meal is when we have our balance, which is we put fiber back in. So that's just a real quick step protocol. So quick, people ask, well, is it? How do we know that it's real? Well, have you heard of the Cleveland Clinic? That's the #1 heart hospital in the world. Have you heard of the University of Sydney? That's in Australia. They are the home of the glycemic index. They know more about blood sugar than anybody else. Look at Health Canada. Our products are approved up there, and that actually means something. I'll show you the why. The first thing here is I argue with everybody. I insist that everybody, if you're on any medications, if you guys are watching this at home on recording or live, I dare you, I double dog dare you to take any medication you're taking, look it up in the PDR, pdr.net. Look it up and look at the counteractions and look at the box warning. Now, the box warning, I label it as black box warning because if you're taking those medications, that can be where you end up, which is in the black box. So that's one that we can validate, third party. Can't make that stuff up. Next, in Cleveland Clinic, think about this. Such a product, now we're talking about the fiber. Remember, they took the fiber out of our food, so we're putting it back in. Such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Who doesn't want to hear that? Big pharmacy. Do they? They don't want to hear that. This has been out for years. It's been available for years. It's listed in the PDR, the book that doctors and prescribers use. It's in there. Our protocol is in there. And half of them, 3/4, 90% have never even seen or heard of it. Why? Because of big pharma. So let's move on. How about this? This is looking at blood sugar. A lot of people are on metformin. Okay? Now, some drugs are necessary. 100% agree. People on insulin need it because they don't make it. But they could get it cut back. But looking at like glucophage, glucocontrol, metformin, we decided let's do this. we gave subjects 2 Eggo waffles, 2 tablespoons of syrup, and 10 ounces of orange juice. That's enough to put you in the hospital, well, me anyway. 420 calories, 89 carbs, 51 total sugar. I mean, now you're making my blood back to maple syrup again. But look what this did. It lowered our little balance packet, right? Our little packet, one of these, lowered the blood glucose sugar by 43%. 43%. The best that one drug that could give you the black box is 30. That's the best it can do. This kicks its butt. And it's a plant. It's food. Think about that. This is the Balance is the only product that's not a statin. There's nothing else that can, and we beat the statins with our food, with our Balance. And then we have the tea, that glorious tea, which is an extract. Now, people have heard of yerba mate, but this isn't just yerba mate. This is an extract. This is an extract that is 370 times more potent. Ours is handpicked, heat roasted, processed, the cholegenic acids extracted and concentrated, made into our tea. And what it does is, people that are taking those shots, getting those shots for their body size, this does it by 60%. Increases at 60%. Again, it's food. No risk. Go look those up. I'm going to go real quick. Remember when I said F off? This is proof. If you fast and then you eat fiber and fats first, protein next, look what you get to avoid. That spike. That ridiculous spike. Carbohydrates, I don't care what you've been told, are not a necessary macronutrient. Why? Because your body makes it. Your body makes it without any issues. Okay? And cholesterol, they always want to demonize cholesterol. Your body makes 80 to 85% of the cholesterol you need. If your body makes it, do you think it might need it? Why would you want your cholesterol to go down to 0? Where is it needed? Well, let's see. Every cell wall, all your brain. I mean, I think you might want to have some cholesterol. But because they've got a drug and they could measure it going down, guess what? Wow, we're just going to make that an important thing. But think what happens. My goodness gracious. Alzheimer's, dementia? Think about that. So we're going to wrap up a little bit on this one. We've been able to prove that it has tests and research. In fact, we've got 24 tests and clinical studies. 24. Name another product you can name that's not a prescription that has that many clinical studies. You got nothing. You got nothing but crickets. And that has 5 patents. What does a patent mean? It means you cannot copycat it. You can't make it. It's unique to us. Nobody else has us but us. Clinical studies, safe and natural, guaranteed. How do we mean guaranteed? We guarantee it for 90 days. If you take 90 days, we guarantee 90 days, you'll have results. The only people, Kurt, John, that don't get results are people that never open the box. Otherwise, you get results, period. And they're provable by blood. By blood drawn from your doctor, we know it works. Cost neutral, well, it costs less than, we talked earlier about $6 to $10 a day for snacks and breakfast and all that stuff. It costs less than that. So it's cost neutral. We're already in over 60 countries and growing. So it's been around since 1990. Rexall Drug came up with it. And they go, look, they moved the fiber out. How about we create a product to put it back in? And they did it with 7 fibers, and it's patented. And they've known since 1990, the Cleveland study was done in 1991. The medical community has known since 1991 that there's a product that can do what this does. Think about that. They've known about it and they don't prescribe it because they don't get paid for it. I rest my case. Well, the tea came into existence and now we own everything. We own our manufacturing. We own our laboratories. We own our fields. We own the process. Nobody can copy what we have. No one can duplicate what we have. It's unique to us. So there's our fiber. There's the studies. So is there a need? Yes. Is there a need increasing? Yes. Is there a solution? Yes. Is it proven? Yes. We've showed you that. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to learn more, we've got a science call tomorrow night, which is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And we'll get you the link. And just ask John or ask Kurt for the link. And we'll get you on with a science call. We'll go into a lot more detail. And we usually have doctors and all kinds of people on there as well. But what happens here, just in summation in the last 3 minutes, is it targets insulin resistance directly. It gets to the root cause, not just the symptoms. We're getting to the root. We're getting the whole dandelion out of the ground. It's better action, and it's not masking a fire alarm. What I mean by that is that, you know, if you're in a building and the fire alarm goes off, you know how loud and obnoxious those things are. Generally, you don't look for the fire. You just look for a way to turn off that stupid alarm, right? Or if you hear your parking lot and you hear a beep going, so someone turned that off. You don't look to see if someone's still in the car. You don't care. You just want the alarm to go off. That's masking it. So people that have high blood pressure, they get a medication that masks it. It doesn't get rid of it. Which would you rather do? Would you rather get rid of high blood pressure? Would you rather get rid of diabetes? Would you get rid of PCOS? Would you like to get rid of ED? Would you make Kurt smile? Would you like to get rid of any of these kinds of things? We're going to get rid of them. John's over here giggling. Or you can stay on the meds. You can do the prescriptions because now you're broken. You're given meds and you're saying, okay, you're broken. And you're broken by whatever they say, wherever it is. So if you have high blood pressure, you're high blood pressure. You got high blood pressure. If you're diabetic, I'm not that. Oh, you got type 2. Okay, all right, fine. You are the disease, is what you are, because you're a bank to them. You're going to pay this forever. The feel-good system takes care of you. It restores your health. We want you to be independent and competent. It's sustainable. It's simple. How hard is it? How many drinks do we do in a day, guys? Three. Right? How hard is that? It is dumb simple. I mean, it's just, how hard is it to do? I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, I have mine right here.
So the reason it works, guys, is because it's natural, it's effective, it takes care of the root cause, it supports real change, it's adaptable and simple. Guys, that's really the whole thing. We've proved it again. And that's what the link looks like. Get with Kurt. Get with John. Our company is an incredible company. We are here to help these, just like these people here. Do any of these people not look happier and healthier drinking 2 teas and a fiber? Look at that group. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? And one of the things we want to look at is that if you could go back and help somebody and save somebody and prevent some issues, would you? I know I would. That's Mom. Mom's 96, mother of 10, 5-generation family, mother of 10. I'm the oldest. Mom was the oldest. And there's 35, 38 grandchildren and 100 plus great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. She has like a 5-generation family. But she suffers now from the Alzheimer's dementia. Had I known about this decades before, we probably, I'm convinced, would have been able to reverse these symptoms because it's not genetic. It ain't genetic. It's not genetic. And that's Dad. That's my dad. And we would be able to reverse his issues too. But that's what we would do. And I know that you guys would all do that as well. I know, Kurt, your dad, he got bit, and there's things, if we'd have known what we know now, good chance Mom and him would have been running around on Sunday instead of her visiting him.
He could still be alive.
Yeah, he really could be. So we don't want that to happen to your family. We want to be able to help prevent this based on all the things we do. Get a hold of Kurt, get a hold of John, get a hold of me if you have any questions. We love talking with people and helping them realize that there is a solution. There is hope. We really need people to help join our team, because from a business standpoint, we're in the blue ocean. We are in the blue ocean. There are not enough of us, and there's a whole lot of you guys, like, I don't know how many millions, 38 million plus of you, all with the same problems that we've gone through, that we're fixing, and we know can work for you. So I thank you guys for coming on tonight. Kurt, always good seeing you. I'll chat with you after a bit. John, always good seeing you. We'll talk to you later. Anything else you want to add for the night before you sign off, Kurt?
Just that this stuff's amazing. It's real. It works. Save your loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. John, you want to say anything on the night? Are you ready?
It tastes pretty good. It's like the tea tastes like a tea, and it's totally more beneficial than tea. So it's great. Both things taste good, and why not? It tastes good. So
perfect.
Go for it.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yep.
Thanks, Kurt.
See ya.
Talk to you guys later. Have a good night.